Today is day 15 on our 33 Days to Morning Glory. And we are focusing on this introduction to St Mother Theresa. I actually recorded this earlier outside of St. Stanislaus, but it's so windy that you can't hear anything. So let's kind of, I'll go back in my mind what was said that you never heard before. St. Theresa was amazing, Mother Teresa, because two things. One, she always thirsted. She thirsted for the heart of Jesus, but she thirsted for people who thirst for the heart of Jesus. She wanted to satiate. She wanted to quench that thirst by bringing people closer to Christ. And it's this quench, this ongoing thirst, this desire that's so important, because as we're going through mourning, there's different types of desires. One of the desires in a stage of grief, it really is we want to bargain, right? I would do anything for Donna if. It would be great if Donna, if she was, one more moment, one more conversation, one more discussion, I would do anything. And it's true, and I would. And if you have a chance, go check out the other video I just did last night on WandaVision, where I actually was talking about that and how that whole story was about grief. But what's even more interesting is just the desire that we have from a finite standpoint, from this world. We desire something that's actually infinite. And so there's a difference here, because when the thirst for Christ, or the thirst for even a loved one, to be united, for example, my desire to see Donna again, as I am united in the communion of saints, my desire to see God face to face, my desire to be before my Lord Jesus Christ. These things are all, require a path of holiness. And we can do so much of that path of holiness from a finite standpoint here on earth. But the actual ability to be satisfied can't come from finite things, because our thirst that we have and we can acknowledge is a yearning, a desire for the infinite, a desire for God's infinite love. And there's nothing finite that we can replace it with here on earth. It doesn't matter how much money we're going to have, how many cars we're going to have, anything we're going to have, because at the end of the day, they'll be great and they'll keep us happy, but they won't bring us everlasting joy. And that is eye-opening of how we choose to respond to the call of Christ and to the thirst that's in our hearts. And whether we recognize the thirst or not, what it means in our lives. So I'm on a path of trying to seek holiness, to empty of myself on this path of holiness, to see Christ, to be in communion with the saints, to be reunited with my bride Donna. That thirst will continue to thirst. The second part of St. Mother Teresa is her understanding that she discovered on the darkness that she felt, where we feel that sadness, that hopelessness, the suffering, the humiliation, and she was able to recognize how she was really joined to Christ's pain and his suffering and his humiliation and his despair on the cross. And what great things can happen when we connect our suffering with his. And this has been a theme we've been talking about for weeks, but now all of a sudden to see this beautiful image that St. Mother Teresa gives us of Jesus on the cross, arms open, ready to reach out and embrace us, looking down, wanting to kiss us, to love us, and that the closer we get to the cross, the closer that we feel that pain, that agony. I feel that pain. I feel that agony. I feel that suffering. And so I can suffer in my suffering, or I can rejoice that I am united in God's suffering. Now I know she says don't have a long face, but I'm sure she's allowing for crying. This morning I found this birthday card that Donna gave me in 2019. And once again with our signature, I love you forever and always. And the card was a travel themed card, and it was about how we're always going to travel together and go everywhere together, and no matter our ups and downs in life, we'll always be together. Well, that brings tears. That brings a lot of sadness, but it brings a lot of joy. Joy that what she said wasn't just a nice Hallmark card, but what she said was also prophetic. Because we will always be together. We will always be able to love each other. And one day, in the ups and downs of life, we will be back together. Didn't think a birthday card could be prophetic. Didn't think a birthday card from someone you love so much, who's now passed and brings you sorrow and grief and mourning, could still bring the joy it brought the first day I read the card. This is the mystery of God's love. This is the mystery of the human spirit. Mourn, grief. We need these things, but they're all attached to joy. So let us not fear how close Christ gets to us from the cross, but instead rejoice that he is that close to us, loving us, bringing us closer so that our desire, our yearning, our thirst can lead us on a path where it actually can be quenched by the living water, by Jesus Christ himself. God bless, and let's continue to keep praying.